Good morning everybody, welcome to Clayton Art Club. I don't know if you noticed the cool countdown timer. It's a new feature on the YOLO box. Hopefully you guys can hear me. If you just bear with me a moment, I'm just going to check to see if my audio is coming through. Oh, that's plugged into a different thing, isn't it? Let's just see. I just want to double check my audio is coming through, so just bear with me a moment. Right, let's see if the audio is coming through. Hello? Yeah, the audio is definitely coming through. That's brilliant. So, and I'll just turn the sound off on this one as well. Great. So, welcome to the stream. Sorry about the funny start. So, hopefully we won't have any problems today. Got my pencils, and I've also got these bad boys out again. As you might be fed up of these by now, but I don't know. I like using them. I think they create a really cool effect. So these are alcohol markers, and that's my white pen. This is my brush pen. I'm using a HB and I've got a 4B. Okay. So if you guys have any preferences on what you'd like to draw, if you want to say anything in the comments, feel free. I am watching them at the same time. So if you do want to tell me something, or if there's any problems like sound or anything else like that, please let me know. And hey Matthew, welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. Are you ready to draw? Sorry about last week. It's my wife's birthday, so we went off on a bit of an adventure on Monday. So, what do you think, Matthew? What do you think we should draw today? I am putting your hands. I'm just gonna open another window, just to, if I need any reference or anything. And there we go. My pencils aren't even sharp. That's bad. But not to worry, I've got another one somewhere. There we go. Coffee. Hello, what's coffee? Here's my coffee. Trying a new blend today, so that's pretty cool. So I'll just bring up that comment. So Matthew's just thinking about any ideas for today's stream, and Nick said coffee, so she might be making a coffee for herself. I don't know. Some of us need coffee in the morning, I think. You want me to decide? Oh, good decision. Just looking around my room, just trying to think, what should we draw? I watched Guardians of the Galaxy again last night, and I really enjoyed it. So I think I might draw StarlLord first. I like StarlLord. I especially like his helmet. I think his helmet's really cool. Might try and draw a few of them if I have. Yeah, I'm gonna draw StarlLord, I think. Just trying to find a nice picture that gives me the details I need to know. Sorry, I'm just trying to find a nice big picture of it. There we go. Okay, let's try to start with StarlLord. So I'm going to start with the head. It does actually look slightly like a stormtrooper, actually. So what I'm doing is I'm starting with the overall shape, and then I'm just starting to pick out some of the details. And then I'm just going to look at the pose. So I'm going to start with the skeleton. So he's going to be looking this way. He's going to be kind of looking this way. I'll draw an arrow. But his body is going to be facing this way. So his shoulders are going to be here crossways. He's going to have an arm extended. And I think that's a bit better. Do I have a rubber? Normally the one thing I forget when I'm doing my live stream is a rubber, but never mind. So I'm just trying to get the shape of his body, so the arm first. there's a kind of a slight bend, which is what you would have if you were holding something kind of heavy. And then that goes into the side of his body, which is the torso part, which is this part. Going down to his gut and his belly, and then down to that area. And then this arm comes down, very dramatic pose. He has fluffy hair as well. So I'm drawing the creases into his elbow. And then just drawing some of his hands. So it's not the most dramatic pose, I don't think, but it's kind of getting there. I don't know if you can. If this is too bright, hopefully you'll be able to see a bit better. Sorry, is it too bright or is it not too bright? Feel free to tell me in the comments. Yes, can see, thanks. Okay, good. Is it better just now that I've darkened it, or? And then I just want to just go over the details of the gun a bit more. So the batteries are just under there. Yeah, dimmer is easier. Okay, I thought so. Sorry. So there's his hands. And then we're just drawing the bottom part of his gun. I don't know if that looks right. That's close enough for now. And then I'm just going to start adding the kind of finer details to his clothing, just to make it look a bit more like StarlLord and less like a stormtrooper on a casual day, which so these are the curves of his coat. So hopefully that is looking a little bit more like him. What I'm doing here is I'm just adding these kind of ripples because his clothes. And he has some kind of cool belt and the hint of a holster behind, but I'm not going to worry too much about below the belt, if you know what I mean. What I really want to do is just zoom in a bit on my reference just so I can I really want to look closer to the helmet really and get all those finer details, but I might do that when I come to the pen. So I'm going to jump over to the pen now, and then in a minute we'll be adding the colour. So I'm just going to go over the bits that I want to keep and kind of ignore the bits that I don't. So if you got any questions or you want to ask anything, feel free to ask. And yeah, let me know how you guys are doing as well, if you've had a good week. So just using that reference of the other gun, I'm just adding in similar details. Obviously it's further back and a bit more out of view, so I'm not going quite as detailed. This is going to be the main focus, and so is this. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time getting those details just to look just that little bit better. And I'm going to put a bit of darker area around the waist and below, so it doesn't matter too much how those details are defined. It's more shape and silhouette kind of below the belt, just because the focus of the drawing is the top half really. So I'm just gonna do some, let me just see if I can. So being a left-hander is nice, except when you've got your light source on the left side, in which case you just create shadow all over your drawing. But it used to be quite frustrating as a child when I was at school. You had to use these fountain pens sometimes, and the time it took for the ink to dry after you'd written it meant that if you were writing with your left hand, this part of your hand just smudged it, which is very frustrating. But it also covered up my terrible spelling, so there are bonuses. Now I'm just adding in details that they might not be 100% correct, but I'm going to try and get as much detail, and I might even use a slightly finer pen for this. There we go. And that's just to ensure I get those good details. And as I'm drawing this, I've got some of the really cool music from StarlLord going on in my head. So sometimes it's good to leave the bits that you want it to look where you want it to look really good to the last. Or if you're not feeling confident, sometimes it's worth drawing those first, and then if you muck it up or you want to start again or anything like that, you don't have to draw the whole rest of the body, which isn't quite as critical. That's a tactic I used to employ when I was first learning to draw, or not as good or as confident. I'd often draw lots and lots of helmets until I got ones that I really liked, or different monsters or stuff, and I'd draw the hardest bit first. And then I'd draw the rest later. That hair looks a bit crazy, but okay. So I think that looks okay. I think with a bit of colour that should look good. I don't know what you guys think. StarlLord. So I've got my colours tab sheet, which is from the different colours that I've got, and there should be another one somewhere, but I don't know where it is. With the other half of the colours. I don't know. And I've also got this film which I can put underneath, which you actually get with these pens, and that's in case your pen leaks through. You can put it underneath and that will help. And it's got a kind of glossy back so that it kind of slides not too bad. So I'm going to put that underneath just in case, so that it doesn't muck up the next page. I'm going to start drawing these details. So I know for a fact that the R2, which is this one, is a nice red. I'm just going to have a little look at some of the colours. Definitely has some browns going on, so I'm just going to start with the eyes because they're the coolest part, I think. Someone's coughing their guts up. I think I'll come back in a minute and just add some reflections into that. I'll leave that out actually. And then I'm just going to grab a couple of greys. For the mask, and I think I'm just going to work out from the mask for them now. So this is a very light grey. I'll do a bit here as well. Kind of go around the edge with a slightly darker grey. See how that goes. Just burnishing some of the details, I think. But it is metal, so I'm going to leave certain sections with like little flecks of darker colour, and I'm going to go over that with an even darker shade now, just in some of those places. And the alcohol is just blending those in nicely, I think. Going to add a little bit here and there, just to break it up, really, just to blend a bit. And you got to be careful with these because they do. You think you've got a similar shade, and it's sometimes a lot darker. Like this one is quite a lot darker. And if I'd gone a bit ham crazy or put this on first and not realised, you can suddenly make your drawing a lot darker than you originally intended. So StarlLord, man, StarlLord. And I'm going to get quite a dark grey just for this side, so I want the shadow to be on this side, so I'm going to add quite a bit to this side. Hopefully this is looking cool. What do you think, Matthew? Or Nick, what do you think? Looking alright? And then now his trousers are black in the reference picture I'm looking at, but black can sometimes just dominate a piece and make it look pitch black, which is not kind of what we're looking for. So I'm gonna avoid black unless it's pitch black, or unless I really careful with it, and that's because I don't want to overdo it. But this is just trousers, this bit, so it's not that interesting. So that was the darkest grey I have, I think. So I might come back with the blackest black I've got, which is this one. But it's just a bit too much to do large areas. So I'm just aware that I cover it up when I draw like that, so apologies. So I don't know if you've watched, have you watched Guardians of the Galaxy, Matthew? So I think it's Matthew has said, looks fab, particularly like the arms. Oh, thank you, that's awesome. No, hang on, what have I said? Oh no, sorry, that's Nick who said that. I do apologise. As you can see, it says group message on my little device, so it doesn't actually show who has said stuff, which is why I sometimes get a bit confused. So his coat is kind of a mixture of brown and red with bits of black on it. So it's very cool. It's like a kind of reddish leather jacket kind of thing. So I'm going to try and create that with these colours. And then let's mix some it's kind of like a maroony colour, I think. So a kind of R1. Do I have the R1? Where's the R1? Put it out. That's the R2. R1. There we go. I'm going to try and blend this with the brown a bit. I'll have to bring the brown back in a second just to... And these do tend to dry a slightly different shade. That's why I have this reference thing. Grab quite a dark brown now, which is almost black actually. It just looks like this when you're combining it. I think I need a bit more red. I'm going to go with the red too. And it doesn't matter too much if the colours are slightly off. You could just be having a pink day, or be near a nebula, or I don't know, something. I think if the gist of the colours are there, then I think you'd be alright. So I want a kind of lightish brown colour now. So YR1. Ooh, wrong side. I'm going to try and blend these in a bit. And what you see is the red is mixing with the brown to make a kind of leather jackety kind of sorta. I don't know if it's quite getting it, but I think his waist here looks a bit narrow at the moment, annoyingly. I kind of wish I'd gone a bit more like this. If I just pop a little bit of red there, I think that might, yeah, I think that covers it enough to cover over my failures a little bit. So I'm just going to do a little bit of pink here and there on the fingers, and then I'm going to do quite a dusky skin colour tone just to show that it's his fingers, but I don't want to go BR3, which is a brown, but it's very pale and it mixes nicely to make a nice skin tone. I think we're getting there. I think it's looking quite cool. I want a nice light grey for the belt, just so that there is some colour there. Alright, let's do these weapons. So I'm going to start with the lightest shade of grey, which is slightly bluish, but it's going to fill that area in. And then I'm going to bring back the whites and then add the highlights. Probably at the end. I like to do all the highlights at the same time. It's going to get that really dark grey for the muzzle of the guns and for some of it. And I want a bit here as well. And I think I want to just make this area really dark. It's like in the crevice of his hands. And I do want to kind of make the inside of his jacket look a bit darker. Some of these crevices. I'm using a kind of a grey here. So it's not destroying the colour, it's just reducing the saturation and mixing with the kind of greyish colour. So hopefully that looks kind of cool. I kind of like the colour of that coat. I'd wear a coat like that happily. Always tempted to, once you get a feel for the colour, you're like, oh, there's another bit over there, and you start tweaking and fiddling. And it's the beauty of these, they blend so nicely. Right, let's get some different shades of grey in there. Metal can sometimes be a really hard customer, because it obviously reflects everything, so you've got to work hard to make it cooperate. But when you add white back in, that's where greys come alive, in my opinion. Wrong side. And then we need to do his hair, which is kind of got a kind of inner bit where the shadow is on his hair, and then as the light shines from behind, it makes a much lighter shade. So yeah, I'll do that one. And hopefully they'll blend a bit better. And then the fun part, the bit that I always like to do, this is my white pen. And what you can do is just sorry, mid talking I just went for a swig of my coffee. I'm so rude, I do apologise. Is just pull back those areas where the light would just reflect, or and you can never put too much of this because you can just colour in over the top again if you've done too much. But I like to kind of draw around things. My voice has gone all funny. In hair you can just put a squiggle in. You can start drawing like subtle under textures. Just to make it look, and if it's too bright you can just dab it with your finger just before it dries, and that kind of just takes away some of the vibrance of the white, so it goes subtler. And I can add some parts to his utility belt thing that he sticks things on, so and on the shoulder because it's coming down from the light, so I'll have a bit more light here, and just really want to lighten up. Just put a little bit of light reflection in the eyes, a bit down the middle, and deciding where the light goes with the white pen is really up to you, what you're feeling, what you're going for. But I think just adding in these little highlights makes a massive difference. It just, I think, makes it just pop that little bit. So I'm just doing the fingers now. Bit more in the hair, I think. Might even add a bit of a darker red. just to break up that red area. And I might do the same on here as well. Just that subtle breakup of the colours with a little bit of white around the edge, just to me just breaks down the overwhelming block of colour that is the legs, and just makes it look a bit like, just gives a slight, like the camo effect, or the kind of just slightly metallic or slightly armoured or slightly techiness of it. I'm just going to add some just white scuffings and speckles in the light in certain areas, just to break it up. Add a bit more to the gun, I think, especially on like rims and like areas of differentiating colour. If you just put a bit of white in between them, it makes it all look really intentional. Just the odd little cobweb of colour. Makes it look pretty cool, I think. Now, boom. Too dark. Never mind. Let's grab a nice light turquoisey colour, which isn't light, it's really dark. Damn it. Then what I'm going to do, come back over it and just highlight it. Add those electrical elements. Maybe add a light yellow hue to the edge. I can't remember what colour his gun lasers are. Just playing with a bit of and actually what I might do is reflect the luminosity of the laser blasts on his hands, as if just as a bit of reflection from the lasers. Just a little bit on the trousers here, a little bit there, just the tiniest bit. And that yellow here and here from the laser blast, like there's not much, just that tiny little bit I think makes a little bit of cool to it. What do you think, guys? Pretty cool or not? I would do a bit of background on it, but I don't know if it needs it. I would get a bit of rubber on there later. I don't know. Could do a bit of background, couldn't I? Let me look at the time first. Oh, I've got 10 minutes left. So let's do some background, and I'm just literally going to use greys, I think. So I'm just going to grab a load of greys, maybe add a bit of blues into it to make it cooler. So these are the colours I've grabbed, if you can see those. So the kind of bluish ones and greyish ones. So some nice comments coming through. Which is very kind of you guys. I'll start with the weird green colour, which I didn't mean to actually grab, but it's come out green. And then I'll probably add some of the blue. It's quite a bright blue, so I might just do that one a bit lighter. I want it to be quite a foggy background. I'm not going to go too detailed on it, but I just want to give you as a viewer something. And I'm using the flat edge side this time, just a quick background, just, you know. Not even putting too much planning in, which is probably a mistake, but and what could I do for background? Sky, could do something similar. And the flying coffee cup that we drew earlier. Some clouds. Going to do the same, but instead of greys I'm going to use shades of, oh, I don't know, very light yellows I think, and browns maybe. See how bright this is. It's quite bright, so I'm going to use it very lightly. I've got a lighter shade here that might. Nope, it's still bright. I don't want to use that colour. YR4, where's that one? YR4. Can't see YR4. Where's YR4? Gonna add this really light white, I think, here. So that just adds just the tiniest bit of grey and differentiation between the two colours. To give that kind of murky kind of colour. Now this is very basic background, this is not anything wowzering, but you can start to just bring out some of the features by just pressing very lightly and just you know, just fleshing out some of the backgrounds. I don't want it to distract from the dude really, so it's and actually it's fading into the other colour a little bit, which is good. So I think a different shade, maybe a bluish. Just to break it up a bit more. I could probably go a bit darker here, but as I say, I don't want to go too crazy. And I'm going to try a little bit of lilac-y here. Oh god, maybe a bit too much here. I guess it is an alien world after all. Oh. Mummy's not up here, darling. I'm just doing my live stream. Can you go back downstairs? Just had a little visitor. I think if this is water, add some. See, that's really strong, dark black blue. It's a bit too dark for my liking, so I'm going to have to try and break it down. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to break up these mountains a bit more. There we go. I think that will do for now. So hopefully you've enjoyed the stream. I haven't actually checked the... Oh, someone's replied on, sent a message on YouTube. That's cool. I don't understand what they've written, but this is what they've written. I don't understand that. So anyway, whatever that means. So we'll just go back here. So yeah, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for joining me for the StarlLord arty moment. Just gonna fill in that leg area that now looks really bad. In fact, that looks just so weird, I think. And now I'm butchering it even more. It's got a lovely message from Nick, thank you. I think it's from, yeah, it's from Nick. So, I don't know. Just gonna do a bit of an inverse in there, just to... Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to cut the drawing from there because that looks terrible. Oh god, look at that. Thank you. Thanks guys, thank you so much for coming. Look at what I've done to the leg. Ah! Ignore that. Cool. That doesn't look too bad. Right, cool. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, so as again, live stream we do every Monday at 10 AM English time. Feel free to pop along, feel free to show me your art. Clayton Art Club is where all the fun stuff gets shared. We're doing woodwork at the moment in our face-to-face ones. So yeah, love to see your art as well, and I'll say goodbye. So see you guys later. Okay, take care. Bye.